And we are live. What is up, folks? Billy the Kid here. Welcome to a community for all of us. Today we are talking about Transformers Siege, Episode 6. I've got a couple friends here that I'd like to introduce you to, so let's do the Brady Bunch thing. And starting to my right, we've got Autocorrect Primer. Let's have it.
Hey guys, this is Sonic Primer ACP. Glad to be here. Really looking forward to talking about this episode today. Really looking forward.
All right. I'm known as TF Collector here on YouTube. For anyone that doesn't know me, I am a toy reviewer primarily who does specifically Transformers toys. Haven't strayed from that so far. And then sometimes presentation type videos too. So that's me.
I'm the Ultimate Wolf. I do toy reviews and gaming here and sometimes with ACP.
Okay, so I love that show, and I got to get us going with the news. So,
let me just go bring that first enter so you can do that thing.
Share screen.
Here, I have that.
You've got it already?
Look at the bottom. I was just saying if I could get that person up here so we could do that thing.
Boom.
So, new pictures for the MMC Brawl, or Killer Max design. And one of my buddies, he's actually going to be a guest on the show in a few weeks, September 21st at Alpha Prime 88. He's loving this set, the way how it looks G1, but all built in combiner. So here's the tank mode, different angles, can rotate. And this is MP scale. Here's the robot mode, is a little bit taller. I believe someone did say he is MP. He is scaled with these Left Fans Toys aerial bots, so around that height. The details of it's a tank transformer. Cannon stays on the back, and then a few others with like the Zeta run and the unique version of him. He is taller than the other three. The barrel is longer, treads on the shoulders and the back of the legs. Again,
I think those are beautiful. Honestly, I think MMC though, they're right up there with Fan Toys in terms of the top third-party producers, and honestly, some of their figures are far better than what Fans Toys has put out. I don't care what the fanboys say.
Did a custom figure for a custom of the Fans Toys Wild Rider into the Wind Charger, like how
I saw that. It was beautiful.
Yeah. So here's all 5 of them in robot mode. So you can see Brawl is a little bit taller than the rest of the bots, and then Onslaught is bigger than Brawl.
Yeah, but he's not as bulky as the other ones. I mean,
True.
You take a look, there's very clean looking.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that part, Alex.
Yeah, I think Brawl's a standout on the whole team, honestly. His proportions and all that are perfect. The other guys are kind of long-waisted, a little weird looking at points, but he nails it. I like Brawl.
Done very well.
Yeah. Very
well. Here's the MMC chatter. So if you want more cassettes for your MP, for your Soundwave, for your Siege or Earthrise Soundwave. So here they are on their cassette modes. So they're doing 2 more cassettes. So this one's a gorilla-ish type of transformer. 2 cannons on the back. You can see the head, the arms, and the legs.
But look how simplistic that is. That right there, I look at that and I'm going, I believe that it can be in that cassette. I would love.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's any extra work to do it this way, and I wish this is what Hasbro had done with the cassettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little favorite cassettes are the Sting Thing and the repaints of the KFC Scorpionator.
Yeah.
I love these. These are 2 little things in my collection that will always stay with my MP. So cassette bots, I'm always all about.
So here's the other thing in the flying pose from what it looks like with the flight stand.
Oh, yeah. See? I mean, look at it.
They're Soundwave, so they do fit in the chest. Fine.
That's
you don't have issues at the moment.
Well, I definitely will be getting these for my wife because that's one complaint that she's had.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at that one.
That looks so good.
They have my mode from what it looks like. So I don't even know who these characters are from that show. Well, if they appear.
Slam Dance, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had Grand Slam and Rain Dance, and they become Slam Dance in the combined mode.
That's
I
awesome.
believe that's who they were.
Oh, I love it.
And it's amazing that they look like they could actually be a Hasbro product. I mean, it doesn't look like something so complex that they couldn't make it just like that. So
Exactly.
maybe they'll get inspired. Maybe we'll get something.
I would.
Doubtful, but
So
If Hasbro's listening, we would love for y'all just to steal this from that third party. And
yes.
make it
Well, they did that with Warpath. Warpath is basically the bad cube. It's insane.
I know, right?
Yeah, yes, and I loved that Warpath. Made me so happy when I saw it. But I'm sorry. Oh,
You're good. So here's the Gigawatt figure from the Back to the Future crossover, which this is turning into the DeLorean. So yesterday on TF Source, it went on pre-order again, and the pre-orders are sold out again. And I did actually get my pre-order in for this figure, so I'll have
good
it
job, my man.
when I get in. Yeah.
I
So
hope
you
those
see that-
pre-orders aren't people trying to scalp a figure that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to mention something about the scalping thing too that I'm having to deal with Amazon, but I'm not happy with the price of him though. I don't see why we're having clearly what is a
$60.
$30 toy.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Especially, there's no new engineering. This is all side swipe
Yeah, the side swipe. So.
completely.
Yeah.
Why is he 60? Because
There's actually one new thing that Sideswipe doesn't have. The wheels, they actually fold in to give it the hover mode.
but that's not $30 worth of extra.
Yeah, that's a pin. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
That's hand part and his new weapon too.
And the thing too is that I thought, well, maybe it's because they're having to pay for the license for it because with Paramount, but no, it's
right. So now here's the car mode.
And the door's open.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure on that part.
Yeah,
So
They have to. If the doors don't flip open on a DeLorean, it doesn't count.
exactly.
I believe I saw pictures.
It
that
does.
were
DeLorean.
open.
It's an
So
imposter.
now here's a shot from the back of the DeLorean, so you can
That's
see all the
nice.
detail from the movies.
Nikki saw that and she's like, "Oh, I want it." And I showed her the price. She says, "Oh, I don't want it that bad."
So now, if you can see the chest,
I know.
you see this in the back in the movies.
Got the
how
dates
it's
on
like
there?
dates and stuff, like how they're going back in
That's
time
awesome.
or
That's
into the future. So yeah, it looks like the wheels will hinge in to give them the hover effect from the one movie. Which Transformers loves to do that thing. So give them one accessory from the one movie.
Nikki said, they're going to do this. Why don't they do like a Bill and Ted's phone booth? She'd be happy to get the Bill and Ted's phone booth. She's like,
I want Airwolf.
yeah, I do too. Airwolf, absolutely.
That's the one I need.
Another one. So here's the chest up close, so you can see the head with looks like the symbol.
I do like the head looks.
capacitor.
Yeah, I do like the head sculpt. That I really do enjoy that.
You like how the Lux capacitor forms the chest now.
I love the dates. I thought
Yeah,
that was
That's
spot.
even movie accurate, if I'm correct.
Yes, it is.
So now here's another picture of him. So people will hate the front windshield because it doesn't look like the actual car. But I believe Toy Hacks could possibly releasing a set for this figure, so that way you don't actually see this part, you can see it like an actual.
That's unacceptable. What they did there. That is unacceptable. You
I
know,
have to agree with you 100%.
Absolutely. $60. That
Yeah.
should not be that. That's trash. That takes a lot away from the figure itself. Because if it was going to be like, even if it was $40, I would still try and get two of them. One to keep as a DeLorean, one to keep in his alt mode, the Transformer.
that's what I did with Ectotron.
I did the same thing with Ectotron. Absolutely.
Did you
But-
guys see that went back up? Hasbro put Ectotron back up for pre-order.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still in stock now, but yeah, I mean, months after he released, all of a sudden they're just like, "Oh, by the way, Ectotron again." And I went and pre-ordered it because I missed out the first time.
Totally
Yeah.
worth having. It's a great figure.
Great.
Yeah,
love
I regretted not getting it when it came out.
And look, you can actually see the license plate detail. Out of time is license plate too. You can see it.
It's really nice, but there's a couple things they could have done that really would have made this the premium figure that they're selling it for.
Oh yeah,
Those windows should be smoked out or tinted.
Yeah, I would have basically looked through the parts on the side.
I would have even liked it to be painted, if anything. If you were to paint it blue or paint it like a grayish blue, I would have been fine with that. There's the doors. Yeah, I did think the doors.
There's the doors open, but obviously you see the robot parts there. They can't hide it. It's not an empty
I don't
figure.
care about that. The
Yeah.
doors opening is what matters.
I know,
you know,
right? At least they
the
keep
right
it
camera angle, you're not even going to notice the
true.
robot bits.
Yeah, and then here's another picture for the crossover, the car. Back to
So-
the picture where that meets the eye.
For the Ectotron, it's actually still up for pre-order on Pulse,
Okay.
and the ship date is apparently December 14th of this year.
Hmm.
So
And,
if anyone missed it, they can get it
The
again.
Gigawatt should be releasing, say, November. It's estimated right now at the moment. And let's talk about Generation Select. So
I want to interject something real quick before we go further. With that being a pre-order, and there are pre-orders, I am going to tell y'all, as someone that I've been with Amazon for, I think, 13 years as a customer, and they have not shipped out one of the pre-orders to me for ever since December of last year. They have. So, and I'm not the only one. Some other people I know too that's not getting their pre-orders. And
wow. Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
yeah, so I am no longer going to do any more pre-orders with them. I'm TF here, and also Big Bad Toy Store is where I'm going to be doing all my pre-orders through instead of Amazon. Even though Amazon has never been that way, but this past year is just no explanation. That's the reason why Nikki went out and got me the judge. She knew that I wasn't going to be in, and she's like, he has a heart condition, something's got to be good for him. She says, and I said, lo and behold, it was like the Holy Grail. There it was. She says, grabbed it. But sorry, I'm not happy. Dinobots don't need to combine.
Yes.
No, not even
here's the
that.
thing. We got this figure a few years ago, and now we're getting it again.
This is a pointless cash grab because they have the Studio Series 86 Dinobots coming out too. So you're going to release this, and then a month or two later, you're going to say, hey, here's another Grimlock to buy. Here's
That's
another.
exactly what it is.
Here, they could give us another figure like Lionel Kaiser. We still haven't got the updated version of him from Combine Wars, and that one wasn't even accurate.
And
or Manosaur. We didn't even get the trailer for the Combine Wars. They could give us that or other figures instead of Volcanicus. But he will have an anime accurate color scheme with two swords, which are reminiscent of the Fall of Cybertron.
it is a Cybertron, a Fall of Cybertron sword.
Yeah, you can tell if you
there's
look right
nothing
here.
new.
It's
It is
the rubber.
the same damn sword.
It's the same.
It is a cash grab. That is a shame on you, Takara, for this.
And
one.
it looks like the feet and hands are actually new, if I'm correct.
They are, but that still
It's not enough to warrant $200.
That's
True.
The hands might be the same as King Poseidon's.
Yeah.
At least partially. It might have a different back shell there.
Yeah.
But the fingers and all are the same. And those guns on his chest are from the sides of King Poseidon's feet.
Yes. I
Yeah,
knew I
A
saw
lot of
that.
reused parts
Yeah,
here. There's not too much that's new.
So then here's all of them in robot mode. The sword will separate for individual modes. Here's
I like the red head.
Yeah. Here's all of them in Dino mode. And it looks like we actually have a box image. That's what the box is going to look like. Probably.
nice.
Maybe.
First picture I've seen of the box.
That's a big pass for me.
That's one of the easiest passes I've made all year.
Yeah. I'm not going to pick this setup.
Yeah, I have a
So,
lot of thoughts on that.
Prime vs. Prime, a few days ago, he reviewed the Generation Selects Super Megatron or also Ultra Megatron.
I can't wait to get him in.
Yeah, I'm actually proud of them order this figure.
Why?
He has two modes. In the first mode, it was Super Megatron. Then he got destroyed by a Star Convoy, and then he got upgraded into Ultra Megatron with a new cannon. For Super Megatron, he only had his jet mode. For his Ultra Megatron mode, he has his jet mode, but now with a tank mode. And also the legs are reuse of the Titans Return Galvatron legs, just new paint apps.
And that was something I was talking to Soul Woofy about was this figure. I would love this to have been the Earthrise Megatron.
Yes, or Siege Megatron, because
or
it's
Siege,
more
yeah.
a better Cybertronian than the one we got.
Yeah. Earthrise should have just been a pure G2 Megatron instead of
I
I
pre-ordered
have
that G2
seen-
Megatron.
that gets a G2 repaint.
I did too.
That one I had to pre-order, and I actually pre-ordered the Nemesis Prime coming out because it just looks like it jumped out of Mad Max.
That's another one I'm so mad about.
It's actually the Siege again. Siege Optimus Prime.
No, I know it is, but I'm just saying the look. If I put that with Fury Road, it would fit in just fine, and that's the only reason I bought the thing. I don't own any Nemesis Primes. I don't like the character, unless we're going Armada, and I can, or not Armada, whatever. Robots in Disguise, Rid.
Yes, the 2000.
That's different, but
obscure because that's the way his name was in the show. So also from Hasbro, we have pictures of a Titan class arc for Kingdom Light.
I want to just say one more thing about the Megatron. Do you think that we may see a retool of that for something for Earthrise or Kingdom?
I personally don't, because it's the Galvatron mold from Titans.
Yeah,
it doesn't match their current design philosophy. It doesn't have the universal joints everywhere, the ankle tilt. Like it's really not up to the same standards anymore.
Yep, totally agree with TF Collector.
So now here's the Titan class arc. So this is a rumor. We don't know. It could be official. So some people were thinking this was going to transform into robot mode. They could do that like the animated, because the arc was originally Mega Supreme and animated. But this arc didn't transform in the show, so it's not gonna have a robot mode. It will actually just transform into a base mode, which we haven't seen pictures of yet.
Honestly, I would love for this to be strictly a playset. I'd like for it to be able to be disassembled, so I could take the back end and just put it in my DTOF, and just use it as a background, and the whole front half, whatever I do with it, throw it in the box. I don't care.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel the opposite way. I'm actually really disappointed by the fact that it's probably not going to transform, because it takes up a slot in Titan class when there's so many characters that are just waiting for a good toy. You could have a Tidal Wave.
Tidal Wave's number one. I'm with you there.
Yeah. It's cool. Also, being a Titan class really isn't big enough for something that's supposed to be a playset for, deluxe and Voyager sized characters. This would have been better served as like another HasLab thing. Sail barge.
HasLab, like the USS Flag, man. I loved that toy as a kid. Yeah. Give it to us in that scale. I'll back it. I'll do the $500 or whatever stupid number they're going to ask me for.
I'm disappointed.
I honestly thought it was going to be Tidal Wave, and I would have been fine with it being that beast Tidal Wave. I think that
probably get two Titan class, because a few years in Titan's Return, we got Fort Max, and then we also got Triptychon in the same way. So it could be that, but
I can't see them giving us two Titans. Just look at Earthrise itself. This whole round's already almost done, and they're going to go into the Kingdom soon. And I haven't even seen half of Earthrise hit my stores.
Yeah.
So they're going to do two Titans?
Actually, I haven't been out to the store in a while, so.
I don't think so.
There's some people, I don't know if it's speculating or wishful thinking, that it could turn into the last Autobot, a character from the comics.
I'm cool with that.
I would be so down for that.
I would too.
Obscure Titan character, but normally they'd be afraid to do an obscure character for a Titan because of the price point, but the selling point for this is it's the arc.
It's the arc. They can make it everybody
just so happen to turn into the last Autobot for the more, diehard fans, which I would love. I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I have to.
My stupid ass is buying it anyway. Let's just be honest. I'm
right there with you.
I've got a plastic crack addiction,
Yeah, I get what you mean. Even TF Collector does.
I'm telling you.
I'm struggling with that Volcanicus. I haven't missed a single Selects toy so far, and I don't want it.
Yeah,
you already own it.
I want it because I want to collect it, but I'm so let down. Like, do I already have this toy? Mm-hmm. All they're giving us is what they should have given us in the first place, but they want $200 for it now. And
yeah.
I mean,
wait for it to go on clearance. If we all don't buy it, they're gonna have to do something.
Someone else probably gonna buy it.
Yeah, because I look at the Unite Warriors combiners, and they were about $160 if you bought them over here. And like I got the Baldigus, and he's just as involved.
Due to Transformers Resistance Guide Ruination or Bruticus, just
different. And he's got tons of extra accessories, and he's got the ankle tilted feet and everything. $160. So I just can't see $200 for buying Volcanicus again. To me, that's absurd. they're really just seeing what they can get away with at this point.
Yeah, it's something that me and my wife were talking about since we both love Transformers. We were both saying, this is making it where it's very, very easy now to let go of certain figures that just don't worry about getting them in the collection because it's just a rehash, and that's just a waste of money. I mean, to be honest, there's so many new figures, so many other things that you can put that money towards out for Kingdom that. And she says, just imagine how many deluxe classes she'll be able to buy for that thing for there.
Yeah.
So
you get 10 deluxes for this.
We do that thing that I told you about.
Yeah, so Eddie, I agree. Most of us were just saying that we did hear it was going to be a play set, and we're kind of cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the dissenter in that one. I don't like it. I object.
I honestly, I really do wish it was Tidal Wave. I would love a huge Tidal Wave.
Posable Tidal Wave, absolutely.
But the colors that it should have been, not the lime green and all that. They can do that as a repaint later down the road.
I like the green. Maybe tone it down a little so it's not as bright, but I felt the purple on gray was a little too bland. But that's me. I kind of like having the gray.
Hello.
Hi.
Let's do that thing that we were talking about. Well, I told you guys about the other day.
Good afternoon.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Eastern time, so it's
Okay.
the day. All right, why don't we do that thing that I was talking to you guys about? The thing.
You guys, come on, guys! The thing.
Yeah. Happy
I'll say
birthday.
Happy birthday!
Sorry, my brain.
Happy
Like
early
much.
birthday.
I apologize. You could put all the blame on me. It's like, hey, he's got the brain that's made out of potatoes, and it just gets smashed. Happy birthday, very, very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Early birthday.
Thank
2 more
you.
days.
Two more
Thank
days.
you.
Yeah.
Make sure he takes you out and does something really special for you.
Okay.
I
will.
will.
Yeah.
I will.
If not,
Thank
we
you
can we could twist his arm, put it behind his back, and do whatever we have to. I have no problem.
Very funny.
I know people. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Gonna bring Jerry to break his legs if he doesn't take her out.
Going to take your knees out, boy. No. What are you going to do for her tomorrow for her birthday?
It's not tomorrow. I got
Well,
another
2
day.
days from now. You got 2 days to plan. What you doing?
I don't know yet. I'll have to talk with my dad about that part.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
You gotta buy her a transformer.
You never forget.
You should get her a transformer. I agree with TF on that one.
Yeah, you gotta spread the addiction to everybody.
Here, let me
It's
just
like
put it this way.
more-
She's more into games because gambling games. So, yeah, that won't work.
Nice.
All right. Do we have any more news, if you don't mind me asking?
That's all. That's why I ended the share stream and had her.
All right. Let's get into episode 6 and our thoughts on this series. How's about that?
Yeah, I agree.
Thought it was a great climax.
Yeah.
Really rounded things off well.
And at least
Now-
we do see a Mega Supreme appear for that final fight to help the Oddlots out.
Which was great to see. Now, how many of you guys grew up with the Gen 1 show? I know I did.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I watched the reruns, like the Gen 2 reruns.
Okay, so season 2, I was watching with my son today, and I really did that because of Siege. In season 2 of Transformers Generation 1, we got snippets of Optimus's life on Cybertron when he was young, and his relationship with Alita, and she was left behind. They didn't really go into that.
Yeah.
And this whole series, and I've been waiting since episode 1, when we did the first show, I loved it simply because it was really that backstory that we never got in Gen 1. So it's like a little bit of a love story for us old timers.
You get to actually see them say goodbye this time.
Yeah, it was so well done, and I want to applaud the cast and the writers. They had their backs against the wall. They had a pandemic. They had everything going, and they really made something special for future Transformers generations for us to watch with our kids. And I really look forward to what they have to do. But let's get into this episode 6. Sorry, I rant sometimes.
You're good.
Oh no, good.
One thing.
This-
Oh, go ahead.
But I was just gonna say this episode had everything, including zombies. I was like, yes, awesome. I loved everything about this one. I'm totally in agreement with Billy. Where finally get that Alita 1 Optimus Prime story.
The connection between them two, which we haven't seen in a while. So
Felt sorry for Moonracer.
yeah,
That was just green chromia. That wasn't the real Moonracer.
No,
The imposter.
well, they have been using clones, like we did see with the many refractor clones. So
Yeah.
The zombies were great. It was a little hard to Transformers Prime, I felt. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
I guess
I agree with that.
Beastmasters, whatever that last little episode was, with the little
With the dark
Yes. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think they did a really nice job there. Optimus, the actor for Optimus, finally kind of fell into the role and didn't try to be Peter Cullen. He was a little bit more himself this
Yeah.
episode, which I liked.
Yes.
I have to agree with that.
You know, and then the Autobots that stayed behind to fight the fight, I loved the way it was done. It was nice.
Yeah.
And it made me love Jetfire even more. He was such a well done character for this show.
He really had to show off his fighting prowess in this episode too. He hadn't done much fighting up to that point, and you saw him just
we always
smashing
seen
the
the
seekers.
missiles in one episode before, and now we see him using the missiles on the back.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
definitely using his sword again.
Impactor's death, actually, I felt something. For me, it didn't feel like it was too rushed or anything. We did get a character that was being developed, and you did have this friendship that was between a Decepticon and an Autobot, to the point that you had a Decepticon sacrifice his own life for an Autobot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's great. That's awesome.
It was done really well. I just, the original Impactor, you loved him so much that I kind of wanted to see him in the next season.
Yeah.
So but I got it and I felt it. And as you said, you know, when that shot rang through and you knew what happened, it was just, it hit you. It was good. It was done really well.
Sorry.
I'm just saying I have kind of a dissonance there with like his death and same with Ultra Magnus's. On one hand, it's well done. It is very well written. You know, they had awesome story arcs and they served their purpose. But then just on that personal level, I'm disappointed because that's it for him. Like, you don't get to have Impactor, leader of the Wreckers, you know, morally gray character that everybody kind of hates. You don't see Ultra Magnus, you know, go on to be like the big city commander and do his thing, fight Galvatron one day maybe. So
Absolutely.
that's disappointing.
Now, you bring up Galvatron. What if the Galvatron we get is the time traveling Galvatron from the comics?
I'd be all right, yes.
And that Galvatron's Ultra Magnus is who follows him through that time warp or whatever, and that's how we get this Earth mode Ultra Magnus. Because we're getting a figure. They've announced.
I
that figure.
really hope you're right because that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
I would love to
great
see
for us who dig deeper into the lore, because obviously there's people that watch only the cartoons, there's people that do the comics. You know, I'm a mix of both. I do whatever I have time for, but that is just an arc that I would love to see them explore. Let's have our time traveling Galvatron. Him and Megatron can have their quarrels as to who the better leader is and all that. You know, we don't need to rehash Unicron reformatting. You know, bring it in. Let's have some wild armies and make it happen.
I felt like we finally saw that Megatron was slowly mentally breaking down by this point.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
I
know-
wrote about that when you see him in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying. He's thinking, wait a second, you're willing to get rid of the Allspark, and you think I'm the villain, and you can see that it's no longer what's best for Cybertron. It's I want to destroy Optimus. That's what my goal is. Is this person stood up against me, and he's bested me, and he's weaker than me, and that was something I really enjoyed seeing.
Megatron's development in this whole series, as well as his voice actor, have been standouts for me.
Oh yeah.
They've just been absolute standouts. The actor embraced Megatron. He didn't try to be Frank Welker. He was just himself, his Megatron, and the direction they took Megatron in. It was great to see him in the beginning. You know, he contemplated things. Should we maybe try to be a little bit more peaceful? We don't have to kill everybody. to that's it, it's done. They got to go.
Yeah. And the fact too is that this is the first Megatron I've ever actually liked. I'm not a big Megatron fan, and so for me to see this one and actually enjoy the character all the way to the very end, I was very surprised by. But
so real quick, Eddie Powell just commented in.
I saw that. I was doing it.
I do agree with the Cog thing that they could rebuild him multiple. He's just like his toy. Those
Hey,
pieces.
they did do that in Beast Wars when Ross Spinner got dead, blown up multiple times. He was just rebuilt in the next episode.
I would love for Cog to be like a Waspinator comedic relief. That would be
that guy worked when he died, or Ultra Magnus.
So that makes me wonder too. With Kingdom, obviously there's going to be Beast Wars characters. It's going to be real. I strongly doubt they're actually getting the original actors back because they're going non-union.
They're not.
How you're going to do Rat Trap and Waspinator without Scott McNeil is like, oh man.
Yeah, or David Hill.
That's going to be hard because they're so personality driven compared to like Generation 1 that it's going to take some getting used to. I mean, maybe they'll surprise us and find a way to bag those guys, but I strongly doubt it.
I think that since they've already been filmed and they're already done.
Yeah.
So I do not think we're getting Scott.
Yeah.
And Scott's a great guy. Scott's the guy that if you went to BotCon would sit down and have a beer with you at the bar all night and talk the gab. But I think we'll be impressed by who handles certain characters. They've got some talented people, but I don't think we're getting the original at all.
No, I don't think so either. So whoever that does do it, I hope they manage to really capture the spirit of those characters because it's going to be weird.
I love how they were on the Beast Wars show and David K's Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron.
That's going to be jarring too, and I have David K. Because
I know.
And David's a cool dude. David will talk to you back on Twitter and all those things. So I'm sure he would have been more than happy if they reached out to him to do his part. Yeah,
to bring back Beast Wars Max to a new audience for the show.
Yeah. I mean, I see why they went the way they went because you're not to worry about paying the SAG price, but at the same time, I'm in agreement with y'all saying, but are you going to be having characters that are not going to be as dynamic as they were from that original Beast Wars cartoon? Because
that's something I worry about.
Absolutely.
I agree. They're definitely not going to be as dynamic. I kind of feel they're going to just be thrown in there for the sake of throwing them in there and quick homages. I don't think the story is going to stray that far from Optimus' story. It's just going to be, this is another group. Sort of, hopefully it's not the way that they did in animated with Rodimus Prime for that.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Second.
Yeah.
Or Rodimus Prime and Armada and Energon, how they introduced him as like an enemy and then they became friends.
Yeah.
Both together to take down the Decepticon army.
So Eddie Powell just said if they're actors in the union, they can't voice act in a Netflix series, which I did not know.
He's
that.
right.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So thank you for that, Ed.
Yeah. Is that because Netflix won't hire a union or because unions won't work with Netflix?
Netflix does not hire for the union. I actually have a movie that I worked on that is on Netflix. And the reason why I was art director for it, and I chose to do this for a friend in the project, is I didn't use the union. I actually went outside. You're allowed to do some of that a little bit leeway. It's more frowned upon, but I did that. And I was always wondering, why not have SAG be a part of it? And that's the reason why Netflix doesn't want to pay that extra price for
It's crazy because they're making bank. They're
it's
straight
not
up
they're hard up
making
on money.
Well, they're actually dead at the moment too.
Really?
Take a look at their IP. They're actually in debt right now.
Well, I didn't know.
Too many people are sharing their passwords and usernames, huh?
And it's also the reason why that Netflix is now going to go to no more than a 5-season platform or for their shows.
Really?
So Yeah, so if they take over a project, they'll give it 3 to 5 seasons. If it's one of their originals, it's only going to be 3 to 5 seasons because that's how they're changing the whole format. And,
I did not know that. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
you learn something new every day.
yeah, and the only reason why I know that is because that's the big complaint right now, especially in North Carolina and Wilmington and stuff like that. It's because a lot of people that are part of the union is being like torn between, stuff trying to come back up here to North Carolina, or should like the company I work for is moving towards Atlanta, and so to be able to do more of the shows and stuff that's going to be in Atlanta and Georgia. So
Good to know. Now, I'm going to jump back to episode 6, just because we've got a little bit of time left, and I'd like to continue with the episode. Omega Supreme's brief appearance and what he did.
Because he was in there like for 2 seconds. And
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Astro Train, when he appeared, he was there for 2 seconds, and then you didn't see him.
I didn't even notice Astro Train.
He was in episode 6. He was right a few minutes before Omega Supreme started.
and he was huge.
You see him like walk toward the ark and then he's gone. You don't even
Yeah.
know if he survived getting blown up or what.
Yeah, you don't see him.
That's sad.
But in Cyberverse, Astro Train had a bigger appearance, and that's only 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
For most of the episode.
Well, hopefully Astro Train, maybe they use him to travel to Earth or something. That's,
True, because, we don't know how those subtones are going to get to Earth, or the quintessons, could pick them up and then figure out
I hope
Earth.
the Quintessons don't come until the 3rd season. That whatever happens on Earth triggers them.
Right.
Let's hint their existence. Treat them like the Vok from Beast
Mhm.
Wars, and let them be the big baddies at the end. And let's take the time and make the Quints right.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
Ultra Magnus though was interesting. Also, is that he went against the other, because even Megatron's like, oh, so the Guardians have finally made a decision in this fight on which side they're going to do, and he says, no, I made a decision.
Yeah,
For
Omega
myself.
said that for the line. Omega for Cybertron, best thing ever. Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It actually reminds me of the Fall of Cybertron game when Metroplex was doing the last stand, and he said something similar. I think he says "till all are one" as he
Yeah,
shuts
he
down.
saes that, and then
Really
obviously we see
good
him
moment.
meeting up Megatron for that one mission in the game. And then Megatron gets reformatted. Well, rebuilt again.
Speaking to
Come on.
Laura One, we finally got to hear Prime say "roll out" in this episode,
Yeah, I have to agree.
which was
Oh
nice.
my gosh.
Gotta soak in that fan service.
Build it up, man. They got to build it up.
The arc was very powerful. I was very surprised how powerful the
With
arc
the
was.
firepower it had to take down that many Decepticons.
You're
That's
used to
good,
just seeing it as a wreck that's like barely functioning. So to see it in its full capacity with its weapon systems is pretty cool.
Well, they got Cybertron 1 to work, and then it's worked again.
They got to sell that playset.
Well, I'm really glad I didn't cave and get that Cyberverse one, like the big $50 really cheap Optimus.
That
Like,
one with Optimus Prime, that just
Yeah. some people bought it just because it had the arc, and I am so happy I didn't, knowing
I
that.
passed
this-
on that.
Yeah, you realize you're getting a new arc. Better,
Yeah.
it's getting better scale too.
When it comes to the Omega moment, one thing I wanted to bring up on that I was very impressed by was the technical standpoint. So he was a very big character, and with CGI, when you have big characters, you tend to have frame rate issues, and that happens in CGI. The Prime Wars trilogy was really bad about that. When you had that fight between like Tripticon and Metroplex, it got really, really choppy. And I was really impressed by how good that scene looked with Omega.
Well,
Not only was the lighting and everything perfect, no choppiness, no slowdown. It was rendered so well, and it just made the scene that's possibly my favorite scene from the whole show. Just Omega bursting through and just laying waste to the Decepticons was awesome.
Yeah,
Especially
it was
the
great.
slowness that we had. I think that's what was so dynamic and why it made it so more 5 frames looks so much better. Is that it wasn't fast. Everything was done at a very slow pace with him, but he was still, when he did something, it was dynamic. And I was very well pleased. I was actually surprised how they had him show up in this.
Would have liked
I
to see
loved it.
more of him, but
Yeah.
he's last year's toy. We gotta.
Well, what do you think?
I gotta advertise for him.
Scorponok will actually appear in the show for Earthrise.
What's that?
So Scorponok for Earthrise appear in the show.
I hope he does.
I
So
would
too.
hope so. He's like the centerpiece of Earthrise. It'd be weird if they didn't put him in there.
Or at least Skylings too.
I would love to see.
Skyling's coming season 3 with Rodimus Prime, man. Telling you.
He could be. He could be their transport. That would make sense. Bring
His
Rodimus in.
superior transport.
I would hope so.
Commander
I
I
would
want
get-
that arrogance with that figure, though. If they're putting him in the show, he better be as arrogant as possible.
I hope we get Cup. I hope we get Blair. I'm probably the only one that would like to see Willie.
You'd like to see who? I'm
I
sorry.
hate if everyone else does.
Willie. I was probably the only one I'd like to see Willie show
I'm
up.
okay with that. Have him show up. Have him show up with Grimlock or something. I don't know, but I'm cool with the wheelie.
What did y'all think about Optimus Prime be willing to throw the Allspark into the space bridge and did not know where it's going to end up?
I thought that was a great way to tie in the Bay films. Granted we don't like them, but this series, all
We don't stand
these
in that
episodes
house.
tied in almost every Transformers series. There was nods to Beast Machines. There was nods to just about every show. Cyberverse with Bumblebee getting the Alpha Trion protocols. There were all these little things that reminded you of all these generations of Transformers. So I thought that was pretty cool. Really quick, Live Evil brought up the Ark being the last Autobot. We did talk about that earlier in the show. TF Collector was the one that brought that up, and we would totally be down for the last Autobot being the Ark. So welcome.
Yeah, with this also you have the bridge that blows up, and you have where Leela and them are thinking, oh, they're dead, and her taking up the mantle for the Autobots. I really loved that. I really did.
Yeah, she stepped up. She was a great character this whole season, though. She really there was some direction issues that isn't on her at all. In terms of voice acting. But the character of Alita was very powerful and very well done this entire show. She wasn't afraid to question Prime. They really made her a strong character to look up to.
And I definitely want to see more.
Oh yeah. One thing that would have helped, and I'm guessing they didn't do it this way, but voice acting is always better when you have the actors there in the same room and they play off of each other.
Absolutely.
When they have to record in isolation, you're always going to get that disjointedness between them. Where it'll be like, I'm talking to you. What do you want? And it doesn't feel natural. And granted, they couldn't have done it if they wanted to because of COVID. They all had to record from safety. But maybe something for them to iron out if they keep making Transformers series that would really help. It really increases the quality of the voice acting.
Oh, absolutely. You can just feel it.
Mm.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I dropped my little Scorpionator.
Yeah,
with this as the final episode of the first the trilogy, overall, how did y'all feel about it? Did it captivate it to the very end for y'all? Did it meet the expectation you had knowing that we were going to get this cartoon?
I would say it's the best show we've had in a while, as far as production quality, plot, voice acting. I loved Prime. Prime was a fantastic show. It gets a lot of hate for some reason. I don't get why people hate it. I think it was really well done.
Prime's a fun show.
Yeah, but then I was so let down by its sequel, Robots in Disguise. I thought it was garbage. Cyberverse was better than that, but it was very much lower budget, aimed at young kids. This, I think they finally got it right. The Prime Wars thing was such a massive
failure.
It sounds mean, but a massive failure. Honestly, I mean, it was not good. But luckily, they learned a lot from that and got a lot better with the voice direction, all that. Their CGI is a lot better. There are some things that, I think could have definitely been a lot better. I hate the abundant use of like the same, not even 10 character models for everything. I mean, they had the CAD files. It couldn't have been that hard to make generics out of this abundance of CAD files.
Yeah.
And then even when you had characters that were similar in appearance and had some differences, they wouldn't even bother working in the differences, right? Ratchet was a recolored Ironhide. There's no difference with like Sound Blaster and Soundwave. I think Red Alert was the same model as Sideswipe with no changes.
Well, Moonracer was...
Yeah, and Moonracer was the worst. Most egregious one.
Because I was like, oh my god, they just killed Chromia. And they said,
Green British Chromia is dead.
Yeah, I definitely agree there.
So I think that really needed. And the other thing I've been saying since the beginning is just length. It should have been a longer show. I wish Hasbro would have greenlit a bigger budget, a bigger allowance for this, because there's so much more detail to fill in.
It needed to be 12 episodes. If it was 12 episodes, you would have character development that really would have made the show right up there with Beast Wars. To me,
you could have had more characters.
I'm sorry?
You could have had more characters because they were so limited with how many characters they could really have that, I mean, think about how many no-shows we had, right? There's no Springer. We only got one of the weaponizers. There's no Skytread, and Skytread's been a staple of the Siege toy line since the beginning. The Reflectors never had lines. There's no Brunt. Astro Train was a blink and you miss it. Like, it really needed to be longer. And, that's not saying it's a bad show. It just, what was there was good. There just should have been more. There really should have. And again, the whole series has been made, so I don't think that's going to change before this trilogy ends. But if they go on and do something, we'll take that on and flesh it out more.
And at least with this, you see a progress that they're got a direction now where they know where they're going. Even though I was surprised that they're going to do the 6th installment of Transformer to the Bayverse.
I was surprised by that. I thought they had given up on Bayverse. I had hoped they had given up on Bayverse. But
I think we've all given up on the Bayverse.
Yeah.
I can't go watch another Bayverse film. I can't do it.
No. And they're saying Michael Bay wants to come back and direct it. It's like, no,
that's just because he needs money. He knows it's easy money.
That was the whole issue. Bring Travis Knight back. You toss enough money at him, sure,
Bumblebee was fantastic. Bumblebee was an absolutely wonderful movie.
Smaller
budget.
They
needed from live action Transformers.
Yep. Smaller budget, bigger impact.
Absolutely. Now we've got about 10 minutes left on this show, so we can continue on the path we want, or how would you guys like to go with that?
I'd like to propose a question for you guys.
Let's do it.
So, once this series ends, the whole 3-part of War for Cybertron, would you guys want, if it does well enough, for them to keep it going? It'd be so unorthodox. They normally do like a 3 and done with Transformers, but if it does well enough, they just keep the story going, make new stories, new characters. Or do you want to see them just hit the reboot button again and start with something else or start over?
I'd like them to keep going, but bring us some of those obscure Japanese characters that we really didn't get in a mainline here. We had, we could import them, but none of them ever hit Toys R Us. I'd love to see like a Leo Kaiser or some of these other characters. Give me Raiden, I would love that. Keep it going. We've got a universal scale here. Everything is working. Let's just keep this going. You don't need to reboot it. I understand that every kid needs an Optimus Prime, but give us some cool characters. Give us the dude Thunderclash. Give us some cool characters like that.
Absolutely.
I would like for this to open up in a way that if it's going to be time travel or something like that for Kingdom, it start to keep the story going where it can start interrupting other realities, and you would have a core group of Autobots that was like the start of the downfall of the parallel universes, and goes through that and keeps the story going. And then you would get to see all those obscure characters,
like some characters from Velocitron. Some.
I would be so down for that. They said, okay, we've got this, but we're going to take a group here and we're going to keep this story going.
Yeah, So you get your new Optimus Prime or you get your new Bumblebee that, every kid's got to have every year, but at the same time, you can introduce us to some newer characters. I mean, how many times can we keep buying the same characters? And I feel like it's just been a rehash since classics of here's another Cliff Jumper, here's another Ironhide. I love the characters and I do grab them, but give us, some of those other characters like Lugnut. I would love stuff like that.
I would too, and I understand why Hasbro, especially how copyright stuff's are right now. I can understand why Hasbro's like,
Ninja Bill, you're a little late.
Yeah.
Oh, Ninja Bill.
Hey, bud.
No, not really. I thought they said 7:30. I'm sorry, I'm late. I thought I'm Central Time here, so for me it's only 7:20.
I said 6:30 your time.
Oh, 6:30 my time. I misread. I apologize.
Eddie, I
hello,
agree.
everyone.
A new Orion Pax would be awesome.
Yes.
I'm cool
They
with
could
that.
do a universe where he never becomes Optimus. That'd be fun to explore, and you get a
That would
different
be outstanding.
maybe like a Magnus Prime or a Megatronus Prime or something like.
Something
where-
totally outside of the box.
Yeah, that's what we need. That we
Or
really
even
need them
Sentinel
to-
Prime. Just have it be, hey, here's Sentinel Prime's arc. Optimus never happened. Boom.
Yeah, you could do that. Or you could go really crazy. I mean, remember they had that choose your prime vote. You could go with some of those crazy ideas like that, like RC or Hound, like people you wouldn't expect. Imagine going
I would
to
love a
universe
Hound
where,
Prime.
it's like RC Prime, where she's some big,
Yeah.
bulky-
Winnebago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's actually interesting because even in this cartoon here we have where Megatron could have been the Prime.
Could have. Absolutely.
And because he even said that to him, till you decided to turn your back on Alpha Trion,
Yep.
and kill him. But yeah, you could have another reality where you have Megatron as actual Prime. I would like to see that. Be
Yeah, like
interesting.
that. Bring us in Nova Prime. I love a nice Nova Prime.
yeah.
You know,
I'd give bonus points if at some point while they're doing crazy crossover stuff, the Lost Light crew shows up from the end of the IDW comics, because the way their story ends is they blast a duplicate of themselves off into some unknown universe. What if that universe just happens to be one of the ones that we explore during the series, and they just run into them, and they're kind of like the comic relief, the less serious versions of the characters in that universe, and you could might even be able to get Judd Nelson to play IDW Rodimus and just be like a total hothead. And
I would love the Lost Light crew. I think that'd be great.
Autobot Megatron and all that.
I have my
So,
show.
what's up, TF Fan Geek? Nice to see you here. And we're actually wrapping up, so I don't know about joining in at this point in time. And then, the conflicted Megatron at the end of Prime would be a very fun story to explore.
Oh yeah, see where he goes off to after
Yeah.
free. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
That'd make for a
there's
good
such great
novel.
things. I'm sorry?
That'd make for like a good novel or comic miniseries or something, exploring where Prime Megatron went.
I would like that.
See, that's where, Eddie, I agree with you with the Wreckers. I kind of felt like killing off Impactor was a loss because we could have had Springer introduced, and we could have had, these great characters with the whole Wreckers arc. Have them come in, kick ass, take names. But, obviously they're only given so much time and so much space to do these things.
Which is almost
You
like
never
a show.
They could bring him back too. I mean, they've survived worse than a little shot to the chest. But
Now, would you like a visit to like a Junkion planet? Would you be cool
Yes.
with a Junkion series, or
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to see done in a modern take.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Give me
Eric
Red
Idle,
Guard.
So that would be interesting to see.
So we do have a couple minutes. I want to make sure that everybody gets to state where they can be found, and once we do that, we can go back and BS a little bit more as the clock runs down. So why don't we start with autocorrect primer, and we'll go around the circle, and I'll end it off with myself.
All right.
Okay, guys. So as we're coming to the end here, this will also be uploaded on Anchor, which goes to Spotify and Apple and Google and different podcasts out there. You can actually find me pretty much everywhere now. I'm on Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Nikki just did a whole slew of things. So I've got a lot of. Oh, there's a new platform called. It's not really new, but it's called Trailer. I'm actually on there too, doing some funny videos and things with Transformers and stuff like that. The book we do have a book coming out, which is going to be in the mind of a conspiracy theorist, and that will be hitting the shelves very soon. It's going to be fully colored. Very excited about that. And you can check out a lot of the other stuff that we do on Bitter Tea Media. So
The art is beautiful in that book, by the way. I'm looking forward to that.
thank you.
How do you type into the public chat when you're streaming?
I'm doing it on my phone, not the computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a way to do it.
Yeah, that's how I'm doing it.
Don't be sad, Fan Geek. We love you.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's plenty more shows coming, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Wolf, where can we find you, bud?
I know. Here, I just forgot there was one news. It actually involves Batman's actor. Robert Pattinson will not be filming the Batman for a while. He was tested positive with COVID-19.
Mm.
So I believe they were still just going to do the movie without him. So you can find me here on YouTube under the Ultimate Wolf, which you see on the screen right here, or different Franker, Ultimate Wolf Gaming for YouTube on YouTube, where I was streaming the Avengers game, which just released September 4th. Today, a few days ago, on PlayStation, multiple platforms. Find me on Instagram, The Ultimate Wolf, Discord, The Ultimate Wolf, right there, and Twitch, The Ultimate Wolf, and where you can find the latest on their channel for the other episodes of A Community for All of Us.
TF Collector, what about you, brother?
Okay. So, naturally, you can find me on YouTube is my main shtick as TF Collector. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as some variation of that name. And then I'm also on the fan sites, Cybertron, T-Formers, and TFW 2005 as Warkeeper. So if you see a Warkeeper posting, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
You're good. Ninja Bro.
My 2-year-old's playing with Ectotron. Ninja Bill, are you there, or did you bail on us?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
He just isn't talking, that's why.
Where can we find you?
Yeah, come on.
Well, typically you can find me on my channel, Ninja Bill 1000, as it's displayed there on the screen. You can also find me on Facebook at Shinobi Biru. That's Shinobi Biru. You can also find me on Twitter, although I never used it. That's Ninja Bill 01. Ninja Bill 1000 on Twitch. I also never use it. And I have a couple of other accounts, like on a couple other sites, but they're all a variation of Ninja, something to do with Ninja. So I'm pretty well out there. I mostly mostly do Facebook and YouTube, so that's pretty much where you can find me. Although I haven't been really social in the last couple of months due to a lot of things going on, so I'm just now getting back into the community.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good. Welcome back. Now, me, I'm Billy the Kid. You can find me here at Billy the Kid's No Bullshit Toy Reviews. I'm here on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find me on Discord at No Machine 7582, just like Xbox Live, and on TFW 2005. I am Ferdimus Prime. More than happy to talk to anybody anytime you want. And to my Patreons and sponsors, thank you so much for all you do for me here in the YouTube world. So that is us. That is our community. And thank you guys for joining us tonight on this very fun show, finalizing the Transformers Siege series. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you. This was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. You guys have a wonderful night out there in TV land.
Mm-hmm.